Hi Aquarius, welcome to April. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy and create some sacred space around this reading. So this month we have a full moon in Libra, which is favorable to your sign, and a new moon in Taurus. The full moon in Libra will be on April 7th, and the new moon in Taurus will be on the 22nd. And then Pluto will go retrograde on the 25th, and we'll talk about that later, but let's see what the cards say for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of April? What does Aquarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of April? What does Aquarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of April? The Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the High Priestess, the Five of Wands, the Judgment, the Four of Wands, the Eight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Four of Cups. Okay, so you're starting the month off. You could be dealing with, well, the Queen of Swords energy is someone who you're kind of feeling independent, and you may have this wall built up around you where you're afraid to accept the love that's coming your way because you have the Four of Cups as an outcome. You could be dealing with a earth sign or even fire. The earth, if you're dealing with but whoever the Queen of Pentacles represents, you're looking for security, financial security, and stability. You could be dealing with someone who's wanting some type of connection that is going to help them to feel secure. And there could be someone, you may have had communication in the past, because you have the Page of Wands here. This is a message that brings good news. But for some reason, you're not reaching out for this connection. And you have the High Priestess here. So I feel like you might be dealing with someone who is afraid to approach you because you have this Eight of Swords in the environment card, as the environment card. Someone feels trapped or stuck and they're afraid to break out of a situation. Maybe you're feeling limited by well, we're all feeling limited, so it's possible that this quarantine is interfering with your ability to reach out to connect with someone. But a part of it, that's just part of it. The other part is you're not giving off the vibe of come close. You might be giving off the vibe of stay away. Because the Queen of Swords energy is about, it could be your energy because it's the sword and that's usually an air sign. But the Queen of Swords energy is about someone who's been through a lot and has been hurt in the past and has become very independent. You know, Aquarians are you don't really need anyone. You don't need partnership. And you're not really comfortable with intensity in intimacy. You like things to keep, you like to keep things light, and you're more into friendship. You want someone that you can pal around with rather than someone who is wanting something more intense. That can make you a little bit nervous. So you could be dealing with someone, if you're dealing with an earth sign, earth people are more physical and they want, something solid and stable. That might scare you in a sense because you may want more freedom. So there could be a conflict between you wanting to connect with someone, but you don't want to get too close. You want some space. You want some room to breathe and room to move. Maybe you're afraid that this relationship will be too restrictive. and will tie you down in some way. So you're kind of approaching it with caution. With the High Priestess here, there are things going on behind the scenes, or it could also mean that you may need to take time out to meditate and think and listen to that inner voice and find your inner guidance, because I feel like things are going to be changing for you in the coming months, and especially in April, because you have the Five of Wands here and the Judgment coming up in the future. So the Five of Wands is about conflict. Sometimes that conflict can be with other people. Like you may want one thing and that other person may want something else. And so you're fighting over petty details because you can't get on the same page. Other times it could be internal conflict, whether you're trying to decide, do I want to be in this relationship or not? What is it that I really want? You're trying to figure that out. Now the Judgment card, this is a card where you are going to be working on yourself in April. Because of all this downtime that we all have, a lot of us are going to be introspective. We're going to be reviewing our lives, especially you with the Judgment card. It's a card of looking at your habits and looking at yourself and looking for ways that you can improve the way you deal with people in relationships. And not only in relationships, but also in your life. So you're going to be on this self-improvement kick. And the Judgment can sometimes mean a rebirth. And as you get stronger within, your needs are going to be changing. So you may not want the same things that you've wanted in the past. And if you've been in a situation where you have felt undervalued or not appreciated or not getting, or bored even, you're going to make some changes in April. Because the Judgment sometimes comes up when people decide to take action, when they decide to change jobs or change their residence, because they want to get their needs met, because their needs have changed. Now you have the Four of Wands here. So this represents security, stability, sometimes marriage, but you're afraid of it. I think you're afraid to put down roots. You're afraid to commit to something because you're afraid it might limit your freedom in some way. Sometimes the Judgment comes up when you have to forgive someone. There could be an element of forgiveness, and maybe you're judging someone too harshly. Maybe you need to give them some slack, or have a difficult conversation where you can talk about your needs and talk about your feelings, because you have the Page of Swords here. Page of Swords comes up. It's in your wish fulfillment. So the way that you can get what you need or what you're wanting, get your goal met in relationship, is through conversation. But you have to choose your words carefully, because the pages are all about messages and communication, especially the Page of Swords. You may have heard, it's a card of gossip and spying and communication, difficult communication. So you may have heard things that may not have been true. You may have heard some gossip, and maybe you're judging someone based on that gossip. Or there could be someone that you're checking out, or they're checking you out, and you're just wanting to be sure before you move forward. You want to check them out, make sure they're everything they say they are, especially if it's a new relationship and you've been through some things in the past. You're not that eager to give your heart away. So you want to look deeper. If you've been feeling trapped, I think at the end of April you might feel there might be some type of release, because either you or the other party might be in some situation where they're feeling restricted, or they're feeling like they can't move out of a situation. That I think might change, but I'm not getting really a time card for that. And the Four of Cups is definitely, you're bored, you're looking for something, you're considering your options. Something may be offered to you in April. It could be love. Someone might be offering you love, but it's almost like you're afraid to accept this offer. You're considering it. You're not acting on it with the Four of Cups. You're sitting there and saying, okay, so this is what I'm being offered. Do I really want this? Am I really ready to change my life to accept this offer? The Judgment, though, that's like one of the major arcana. You have two here. The Judgment, guidance of the Judgment is you're going to realize at some point that you can't stay with the status quo, that you have to take action, you have to make changes. If you want anything to change in your life or in your relationship, you are going to have to see the truth. It's like waking up to the truth, having some kind of a spiritual awakening or some type of realization. And it's going to come through this quiet time that you're going to have. You're going to have time to think and to consider and to listen to that inner voice. And the inner voice may be calling you to go in a certain direction in a relationship. But I feel like it's more conflict, that you have conflicting needs. Like a part of you wants to accept this love, but a part of you is conflicted about it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to affect me and my environment. How do I want to connect with someone? Because this person could be very different than you. And maybe they might not be as exciting as people you've been involved with in the past, but they'll be more stable. But in any case, you're going to decide to take action. With the Judgment card, change happens because of something that you do. Because you're waking up and you're realizing what you need to do to make changes. And that may involve having to sit down and deal with subjects that have been in the past uncomfortable. So you're going to have to choose your words carefully in April. If you have a conversation with someone, and it has to be a difficult conversation, choose your words really carefully. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And don't listen to gossip. If someone comes to you with gossip about a person that you're interested in, or someone that you are in a relationship with, go to the source. Don't just believe everything you hear, because Mercury's going to be squaring Neptune. I mean, there's going to be some... Mercury I think might even be conjuncting Neptune this month. Venus is going to be squaring Neptune. So there's a lot of confusion going on this month, and misinformation. So you want to make sure you get your facts straight and don't jump to conclusions. And don't reject someone based on hearsay. Go to the source, have that conversation, and you can resolve it. Now let's see, where is... Oh, here we go. Okay, here are my notes. Let's see what's going on with the astrology. So full moon in Libra is happening in your 9th house and your 3rd house. So the moon is in the 9th, the sun is in the 3rd. These are your communications houses. So something may be completing at this time. You might be completing some project that has to do with communication, marketing, the internet. But it could also have to do with family, because the 3rd house can represent relatives, siblings, friends, close friendship, people that are in your local environment. So something is also being revealed at this time, because you have Jupiter and Pluto in the 12th house. So if there's been anyone working behind the scenes against you, that may come out at this time, because the 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. But it's also the house of, there could be people behind the scenes working to help you, to support you. You're going to find out who's on your side by this full moon, one way or another. Mars is in your 1st house with Saturn. Mars just moved into Aquarius. Saturn just moved into your sign. So you're going to be feeling more energetic when Mars moves into Aquarius. When Mars is in your 1st house, you have the energy to go forward, to take charge, to take action. Saturn is like telling you got to get serious. You have to be disciplined. You have to be focused. So people may see you as maybe a little bit distant or harsh because you have Saturn in the 1st house. And Mars is going to be squaring Uranus. Uranus is in your 4th house now, in Taurus. So you want to make sure, there could be some surprises that come up with family or around the home. Maybe some conflicts even, sudden arguments, sudden events that come out of nowhere. So don't be too harsh, don't be too quick. Don't do anything reckless, don't make any decisions. Don't do anything based on reactive behavior. So if someone pushes your buttons, this month we're going to have our buttons pushed. And they're going to be triggering, especially because you have Pluto and Jupiter in the 12th house. Someone might be triggering you on a psychological level. They're going to be pushing your wounds, your buttons, your sore spots. So you don't want to react in anger. You want to just be calm and resolve something in a peaceful way. That's the best way to deal with this energy. Venus is in your 5th house, so there could be romance. You could be doing working on a creative project that brings a lot of joy. Focus on that. Focus on what you love to do. Don't focus on if family or friends are pushing your buttons. Just escape with art, or escape doing something creative, something that you love, or even with a new romance. If you're developing a new romance, that can take you away from some family problems that may just pop up. So then we have the new moon in Taurus, and that's in the 4th house, conjunct Uranus. So there could be some new beginnings happening around the home. The only issue is with Saturn in the 1st house, you may have a lot of responsibilities at work, or you just may be feeling very serious. Like you want to have some type of, you're going to have to accept responsibility or take action. Make some kind of solid plan, make some type of commitment. There could be something around commitment coming up at this new moon. Mercury is in your 3rd house. That's again the house of communication. Mercury in Aries, you got to be careful, especially because it's in your 3rd house. When Mercury is in Aries, people kind of blurt things out without thinking. And especially since it's going through your 3rd house, you might be communicating with siblings or relatives without thinking, or they might be doing that. You might get some. So you have to keep your cool. Especially since I feel like your buttons might be pushed in April. Especially when communicating with others, or even signing contracts. If you're signing a contract, there might be some things going on behind the scenes. You may want to look deeper into whatever's going on before you sign. Get all the details, get everything in writing. Because you have Jupiter. Jupiter in the 12th house can mean you have this like guardian angel. There's someone like supporting you from behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. But Pluto in the 12th house, you might have some power struggles. Someone in power might be working against you. You might want to, or it could be your own psychological issues that are you're self-sabotaging. So don't think negatively. You have to think positive. Like, I can achieve this, I can do this. And Mars is going to give you the energy to accomplish a lot in April. And you're going to be restless and you're going to be impatient. So just be careful about your communication style, that you don't alienate people because you're coming on too strong or too harsh. And at the same time, I think there could be some romance happening because you have Venus in the 5th and it's trining Mars in the 1st. So there could be some kind of romantic possibilities or some kind of positive thing happening around family and children. Even some creative project. You could be enjoying working on something that could bring you extra money even. Something that's creative that you could figure out a way to make money doing. And Neptune's in the 2nd house and Venus is squaring Neptune. So if you have anything to do with love or money, if you're in a relationship and you're arguing over money, or someone is coming to you for a loan, you want to make sure you get all the facts. And you're not idealizing someone, or idealizing, like you might have a money-making idea, thinking, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. This creative project is going to bring me, Just be realistic about it, because with Neptune there could be some confusion around a creative project. So you might be overestimating what the potential is. Pluto retrogrades on April, and it's going to on April 25th, and it will retrograde until October 4th. And that's happening in your 12th house. So you might be revisiting some things from the past, because the 12th house is it's a psychological house. It talks about things that are hidden. And Pluto wants you to go deep. So if you've had some psychological issues, you may want to revisit them to look at what is it that where do I need to change? My thinking, where am I being run by unconscious programming? And I'm not even aware of it. So you could be having power struggles with people based on some unconscious behavior that you're not even aware of, and that could be part of the problem. So you want to go, it'd be a good time to look at that. Also look at where you're letting fear stand in your way, fear blocking you. Where are you afraid to reach out and explore new things? You might be hiding that, or you might feel restricted by that, or are your belief systems too rigid? You're being stubborn over something, not willing to compromise. So all those things are coming up at this time. So even though we have some tense aspects, like Mercury squaring Jupiter and Pluto, and we do have some good aspects. Like Mercury squaring Pluto, you might feel that your communication is being blocked, or like people in power are not understanding you. They're not getting what your vision, and you're having to constantly explain things. But Venus sextile Mercury, you could have some romantic encounters. You could be hearing from someone that you haven't seen in a while, or you could be starting up a new relationship that brings, where there's a lot of communication, a lot of good communication between you. You might be connecting with someone, and with Venus it could be a Libra or a Taurus. Mercury could be Gemini. Someone who really gets you, and you might be venting with someone and talking up a storm, and having a lot of fun with that, or a lot of activity. Like if you're feeling restricted, like you can't travel or you can't get out, you might be burning up the phone lines or the internet, just communicating with someone. Especially because Venus trine Mars, that usually increases your desire for relationship and love. You're really wanting to connect with someone, and you may be feeling frustrated because you can't move or you can't get out. Because this Eight of Swords, like you feel like you're in prison. And this lockdown, some people love being locked down, like introverts. But the air signs, they hate it. They want to get out. They want to be free. They want to get out and move and go. And they feel frustrated by this lockdown. So just be patient, because we are going to come out of this. I really feel that as the planets start to retrograde over the summer, some of the pressure might ease off a little bit. We still have Mars making some tense aspects over the summer, so I don't think we're going to be out of the woods totally till the end of the year, or maybe the beginning of next year. But we will get a reprieve. We may get a little bit of it's going to be like hills and valleys. So just be patient. Focus on, taking care of your immune system. Focus on the positive energies. Visualize a positive outcome, and you can help at least send positive energy to this crisis. But things are going to be changing for you. Especially when it comes to your home. There might be some surprising developments around the home. Maybe you decide to move into a new house, or you want to renovate your house. Be careful about electricity when Uranus is going through your house. Check the wiring. Sometimes Uranus can bring up, if you don't have any problems, it'll be fine. But sometimes when Uranus goes through the fourth house, it will bring up certain things that need attention, like electricity, lightning. Make sure all your wiring is worked. I'm not trying to put any fear into anyone, but just get something checked. If you feel that something is not wired properly, or just be careful, don't overload your circuits. If there's a lightning storm, unplug your computer. Just do the safety things, and you should be fine. But Uranus going through your fourth house, it's shaking up your home life. It's shaking up what you consider home. You might decide to redecorate and make everything ultra modern. You might bring more, have a smart home. Maybe you'll be working on creating a smart home for yourself, because Uranus rules technology. You could be working from home on some kind of technology project. Maybe you're, using the internet more, or developing a website, or learning about astrology. Uranus rules astrology. So there could be a lot of different options for you, but it will be a new beginning that will add more, a breath of fresh air to your life and your home life. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Aquarius. If you'd like a private reading, just click on the link in the description box and we can get you on the schedule. In the meantime, I want to say thank you for everyone to everyone for supporting my channel, for liking, subscribing. If you like the video, please like or subscribe. If you're new, welcome. And I wish you a good April. Be safe, be healthy, be patient. We're going to come out of this. And I'll talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.